We are joined now by Dr. Eytan Cohen, Yanarocak, Turkey expert at the Moshe Dayan Center at Tel Aviv University. All right.
Good evening.
Good evening. All right, so a lot to cover here. Turkey is talking about stopping refugees inside Iran rather than at its own border. How significant is that shift, and how far is Ankara actually willing to go to enforce this?
Well, I first of all would like to emphasize that Turkey did this before. In 1991, when the Kurds were under enormous pressure of Saddam Hussein, Turkey, together with the other allies, launched the Operation Provide Comfort in northern Iraq. And they created a buffer zone, and instead of letting the Kurds inside Turkey, Turkey provided the humanitarian aid in northern Iraqi region. And of course, we have another case study where Turkey failed. In 2015, during the Syrian civil war, we witnessed approximately, according to the official numbers, 3.5 million Syrian refugees who are registered, right? Came to Turkey as refugees. And of course, that created a very important, dynamics in the Turkish society, created unemployment, unfortunately, xenophobia, etc. Long story short, the lessons learned. Now, the Turkish administration, you mentioned the Qatari outlet, but let me tell you, it's a kind of a Turkish government's mouthpiece, this Middle East Eye.
Middle East Eye, interesting.
So I assume that they are signaling that they are going to do that. And if you allow me, I would like to mention one more thing. From my perspective, the fact that Turkey is declaring such a thing is that out loud, now they are saying that we do not believe that the Ayatollah regime in Iran will survive. So they are declaring out loud that they are taking necessary precautions to stop the potential refugee influx.
Right. Well, that kind of brings me to another take, right? Obviously, you just spoke about Turkey's past experiences with Iraq, with Syria. On one hand, this could be seen as a security move, a domestic political one as well. But it's perhaps also a signal to Washington and Tehran that Ankara wants no part in a regime change.
Well, we can definitely understand that Ankara is not interested in at all with the regime change. And I can definitely say you that if the regime change will come, it will most likely will replace the Ayatollah regime with a new government which is friendly, which will be friendly for the state of Israel. And in Ankara's point of view, unfortunately, they are nowadays tagging Israel as number one national security threat, and therefore they don't want another country which will make an alliance with the state of Israel. That's the first issue. The second issue is if the central government in Iran will be weakened, most likely the country may disintegrate, and in this scenario, Iranian Kurds may also acquire an autonomy / an independence. So Turkey does not want to see that. And last but not the least, the example of changing the regime with a demonstration, at the city squares is constituting a very important problem for the Erdogan administration. Because at the end, mayor of Istanbul, Erdogan's biggest, the most serious rival, is in prison. And we all remember the protests in Turkish city centers. So Turkey does not want to see a regime change. Again, likewise, that they were on the wrong side of the history during the Gaza war. Again, unfortunately, the Turkish administration chooses the wrong side of the history also in the case of Iran.
All right, I'd like to thank you for that breakdown.